Ma, I love you.
Merv is not just a cat. She's a whirlwind of energy, a mischievous troublemaker, and the most headstrong feline I have ever met. From the moment she entered my life, she turned my world upside down in the best possible way.
Oh, here we go again. Oh.
It all started with a text from my wife. "Hi, there's a little kitten living here. Please bring a blanket and a box." I sighed. No, please don't make me do this. I don't want a cat. There's no more room for love in my heart. But fate had other plans.
You can scratch like that, yeah. Scratch it good, get your stress out.
When I first met Merv, she was tiny, wild, and full of attitude. She didn't behave like a regular kitten. She growled, hissed, and waved her little paws at me like she was ready to take me down. Sometimes she just sat there, staring at me as if she were plotting something devious. "Merv, I'm your father," I told her dramatically, trying to break the tension. She didn't seem impressed. The first few days were chaotic. Merv would zoom across the room at lightning speed, knocking things over like a tiny tornado. She climbed on furniture, ambushed my feet, and seemed to take great pleasure in creating as much havoc as possible. I wasn't sure I would survive this new addition to our home. But over time, something amazing happened. I started to understand her.
Right.
And more
Yeah,
surprisingly,
you're right,
she started
That's
to understand me.
Just kidding.
I've always been the kind of person who loves to goof around, make funny noises, sing ridiculous songs, and do silly things just for fun. And as it turns out, Merv is the same way.
Merv, you're so good. Sing to Bagagua. Oh.
She became my comedy partner, my little sidekick in mischief. If I made a strange noise, she'd respond with a dramatic meow. If I danced around the living room, she'd chase her tail in circles as if joining in. If I pretended to fall, she'd pounce on me like a victorious warrior. Merv also developed some hilarious habits. Every morning, she brings me a sock, just one. And if she doesn't approve of my choice, she takes it away and hides it. Sometimes I end up wearing mismatched socks all day because I can't find the other one.
Oh my God.
Then there's the shower situation. If I dare to start washing without her, she lets out a loud, offended meow. "How dare you start without me?" She perches on the edge of the tub, watching carefully as if she's supervising the process, making sure I do it right. "Merv, what were you doing last night?" I ask her when I wake up to find my room in complete disarray.
I just had a question.
She just blinks at me innocently as if she has no idea what I'm talking about. My career is unpredictable. I work in the acting industry where stress, uncertainty, and long hours are the norm. But no matter what kind of day I've had, Merv is always there for me. When I feel down, she jumps into my lap, starts purring, and suddenly everything feels a little bit lighter. It's as if she absorbs all my worries and replaces them with warmth.
Merv, what's wrong? Merv, if you're mad, go have some pad thai and change your attitude. Merv, who are you talking to?
Sometimes she puts on a whole performance just for me. She sits across the room watching me thoughtfully, and then,
Merv, what were you doing
without
last
warning,
night?
she leaps into the air, flips, and dashes off in a fit of zoomies.
Oh, it smells
I
like
can't
you had a
help but
party
laugh
over here.
every time.
It's stinky. Merv, I know Charles was here. Yeah.
She also has an incredible ability to sense my moods. When I'm sad, she quietly curls up beside me. When I'm happy, she bounces around the house like a tiny acrobat, chasing imaginary creatures and filling the room with her playful energy.
I know when Charles has been here. Merv.
Merv is a miracle.
I love you.
She's not just a cat. She's my best friend. Merv. She has shown me that even the most unpredictable, headstrong, and chaotic creatures can bring an endless amount of joy and love into our lives.
Merv, guess who's here playing Spanish guitar for you? Yes, listen. Is he gonna pet you? Oh, pet, little.
If you enjoyed this story about Merv, you'll love the many other animal tales I have to share. From heartwarming friendships to hilarious antics, there's always something new to tell. So be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to stay connected and hear more stories that celebrate the wonderful bond between humans and their pets.
Merv, come here. He's playing Madonna. Merv, go and see him. Run!
And remember, if you're thinking about bringing a pet into your home, make sure to do your research and understand their needs. Every animal deserves a happy, healthy life filled with love. As for me, I never thought I wanted a cat, but now I can't imagine my life without Merv. Peabody was not just a miniature horse, he was a miracle, a tiny spark of life that lit up our world, even if only for a short while. His story began in the most heartbreaking way, but it became one of resilience, love, and an unbreakable spirit that continues to live in our hearts. It all started when I received a call from a woman who owned a breeding ranch. Her voice was indifferent, almost dismissive, as she said, "My mare just had a foal, but it's a runt. We're going to put it down." My heart stopped. "No, don't do that," I responded immediately without hesitation. I didn't know what I was getting into, but I knew one thing: I had to save that baby. Peabody was only 3 days old when I first saw him. He was heartbreakingly small, his fragile body weak and struggling to survive. His legs were crooked, his tiny mouth couldn't open properly due to a bad bite, and he could barely stand. His mother had rejected him, leaving him helpless and alone. But when I looked into his wide, searching eyes, I saw something extraordinary: hope. Did I really die and go to heaven? That's what his eyes seemed to ask me when I scooped him up into my arms. In that moment, I knew I had made the right choice. Caring for Peabody was not easy. He couldn't nurse like other foals, so I fed him milk from a bowl, carefully holding his head as he tried to drink. It was a struggle, but he was determined. I refused to give up on him, and he refused to give up on life. Then came the biggest challenge, teaching him to walk. His legs, weak and unsteady, wobbled with every step. But with time, patience, and a pair of tiny custom-made shoes, Peabody took his first real steps. The sound of his little hooves tapping against the wooden floor was music to my ears. He was no longer just surviving, he was living. Peabody was too fragile to be around other horses. If one accidentally nudged him too hard, he would fall over like a feather in the wind. So instead, he became part of our home, our tiny, four-legged housemate who refused to believe he was anything less than one of the family. I had 2 French bulldogs, one of whom was named Penelope. The first time she met Peabody, they stood nose to nose, curiously sniffing each other. There was no fear, no hesitation. Within moments, they were off, racing across the house, competing to see who was the fastest. Peabody tried his best to keep up, his little legs pumping as fast as they could go. He never won, but that never stopped him from trying. Watching him run, play, and laugh in his own way filled my heart with indescribable joy. He became inseparable from the dogs, eating alongside them, napping beside them, and even causing mischief just like they did. "Did you go pee-pee, Peabody?" I'd playfully ask. "Did you go poo-poo?" His ears would perk up as if he understood every word. And at dinner time, all 3 of them, Peabody and his bulldog siblings, would sprint into the kitchen like a tiny stampede. Despite his small size, Peabody had a big personality. He was mischievous, stubborn, and full of sass. I caught him chewing on my papers once and jokingly scolded him. "Peabody, if you keep eating my papers, I'm gonna love Bugsy more than you." He just blinked at me, then promptly stole another piece. But he knew he was loved, and in return, he gave us a love that was boundless. Tragically, dwarf horses don't live long. Peabody's time with us was far too short, but he made every moment count. The day he left this world was one of the hardest I've ever faced, but even in my sorrow, I found comfort in knowing that his life, however brief, had been filled with love, laughter, and the warmth of a family that cherished him. Peabody was more than just a miniature horse. He was proof that even the smallest, most fragile souls can leave the biggest impact. His spirit lives on in the memories we hold dear, in the joy he brought us, and in the love that will never fade. If Peabody's story touched your heart, please share it. Let his legacy remind the world that every life, no matter how small, is worth saving, worth loving, and worth celebrating. This is the story of Chocula, a donkey who went from being a shy, unwanted animal to a beloved member of our extraordinary family. When he first arrived at our home, we had no idea just how much he would change our lives. Chocula came to us almost by accident. His previous owners were downsizing their farm and had decided to get rid of some animals they no longer needed. He was one of the ones left behind, unwanted and forgotten. He was scared, distrustful of people, and seemed utterly alone. I've always had a soft spot for animals, and when I saw Chocula standing there, uncertain and wary, I knew we couldn't just leave him behind. But I also had no idea what I was getting into. We'd never even owned a dog before, just a few independent cats. And now, suddenly, we had a 250-pound donkey in our backyard. At first, Chocula kept to himself. He watched us from a distance, his big eyes filled with caution. He didn't trust people, and I couldn't blame him. Every move we made, he studied carefully as if trying to figure out whether we were friend or foe. But then, something remarkable happened. From the very beginning, Chocula formed an instant and unshakable bond with my husband, Adam. It was as if he had chosen him as his person. Every time Adam stepped outside, Chocula would rush to stand in front of him, almost like a personal bodyguard. If I tried to get between them or called Adam from across the yard, Chocula would immediately get excited, stamping his hooves and blocking my way, as if he were protecting his best friend. "Hey, Chuck!" Adam would greet him, and Chocula's ears would perk up in delight. Their bond was something special, deep, meaningful, and undeniable. Chocula wasn't just an animal on our property. He had become part of our family.
It's kind of fucked up.
Oh, Jesus.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Good boy.
He's a good boy.
The more time I spent with him, the more I realized how incredibly smart and observant donkeys are. Chocula watched everything we did, learning our routines and understanding more than we gave him credit for. He figured out how to open gates just by watching us latch them. If the weather was bad, he would show his frustration by shaking his head and stomping. And if I was late with his dinner, he would make sure I knew, giving me a dramatic look, snorting softly and even nudging the feed bucket as if to say, "Excuse me, did you forget someone?" But despite how much love he had found with us, I knew something was still missing. Donkeys are herd animals. They need companionship to truly be happy. That's when we found Booberry. Booberry was just a little donkey, still a baby when we took him in. His mother had passed away, leaving him without a family. We knew Chocula needed a friend, and from the moment Booberry arrived, the two of them were inseparable. They played together, wrestled in the pasture, and chased each other around like brothers. Watching them bond was one of the most heartwarming things I had ever seen. But one thing never changed. Chocula still believed that Adam was his. If Booberry or any of the goats got too close to his human, he would shake his head and send them away as if to say, "Back off. That's my dad." Our home had become a little unconventional, but it was filled with love. Our donkeys weren't just animals living in our backyard.
No bite.
They were family.
Kiss.
And if there's one thing I
Ouch,
learned,
Dad.
it's that animals, especially herd animals, don't just follow each other blindly. Their bonds are built on real connection, trust,
No.
and love.
No.
Kisses only.
No bite. No bite.
People often underestimate donkeys. They think of them as stubborn, but in reality, they are incredibly intelligent, expressive, and deeply loyal. If you earn a donkey's trust, they will open up a whole new world to you, one filled with kindness, understanding, and unwavering companionship.
Morning.
that it? Oh. Is it time for your walk? Yes? It's time for your walk? Okay.
If you loved Chocula's story and his incredible journey, please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. We share more touching and inspiring stories about the amazing animals in our lives, and we hope they bring as much joy to you as they do to us. And remember, before bringing any animal into your home, especially one as unique as a donkey, take the time to learn about their needs and consult with experts. With the right care, love, and attention, you won't just be getting a pet, you'll be gaining a lifelong friend. In a world filled with unexpected moments, sometimes the smallest creatures teach us the greatest lessons. This is the story of Tulip, a little beaver whose journey of survival, resilience, and love left an unforgettable mark on the hearts of those who saved her. Tulip's story began in the unlikeliest of places, a busy construction site. Workers were installing utility poles when one of them noticed a tiny, frightened beaver kid crawling toward him. She was weak, alone, and vulnerable. Without hesitation, the man stopped what he was doing and watched as the little creature settled right on his boot, as if to say, "I don't have a home." At that moment, he knew he couldn't leave her behind. With gentle hands, he scooped up the fragile bundle of fur and sought help. He brought her to a wildlife rehabilitator named Melissa, a woman whose life was dedicated to caring for animals in need. Melissa had seen many orphaned and injured creatures before, but Tulip was different. The tiny beaver, barely 24 hours old, looked as if she had spent every moment of her short life fighting to survive. Her body was frail, her fur patchy, and she wobbled uncertainly, unable to stand properly. She was so small and delicate that it seemed almost impossible she would make it. But Tulip was a fighter. Determined to give her the best chance at life, Melissa devoted herself to the little beaver's care. She stayed up through countless nights, feeding her, keeping her warm, and monitoring her condition. Despite their best efforts, Tulip faced one challenge after another. She suffered from infections, struggled to gain weight, and seemed far weaker than other beavers her age. But with every setback, she kept fighting, and Melissa refused to give up on her. As summer arrived, Tulip slowly began to heal. Her fur started to grow back, her tiny frame gained strength, and every small milestone, her first steps, her first nibble of food, became a moment of celebration. The day finally came when she was well enough to go outside for the first time. It was a joyous occasion, yet it led to a surprising revelation. Tulip didn't know how to swim. For a beaver, swimming is second nature, but Tulip had never had the chance to learn. Melissa knew that in order to one day return her to the wild, she needed to teach her. She devised a training plan using toys at the bottom of a pool to encourage Tulip to dive and retrieve them. At first, the little beaver was hesitant, unsure of the water beneath her. But with patience and practice, she learned. Slowly but surely, she began to splash, dive, and swim, until one day she moved through the water as if she had been born for it. Watching her glide effortlessly was the most rewarding moment of all. As Tulip grew, her unique personality blossomed. Unlike most beavers who use their tails for balance, Tulip only did so while grooming, creating a quirky little dance that never failed to make Melissa smile. She had an adorable habit of licking her lips with her tiny tongue, a gesture that melted the hearts of everyone who saw it. And then there was her love for bananas, far surpassing even her fondness for sweet potatoes. The mere sight of the yellow fruit would light up her eyes, and nothing else in the world seemed to matter in that moment. Melissa always knew that Tulip belonged in the wild. Her ultimate goal was to see her return to the home she was meant to have, free and thriving. But the bond they had formed was unlike any other. Tulip was more than just an animal in her care. She was family, a symbol of hope, resilience, and unwavering love. One day, when the time is right, Tulip will take her place in the world she was born into. Until then, she remains a reminder of the incredible power of kindness, the strength found in even the smallest creatures, and the unbreakable bonds that can form when love and compassion lead the way. If you were touched by Tulip's story, remember that every life, no matter how small, deserves a chance. And if you ever consider adopting an exotic pet, be sure to seek guidance from professionals and research their needs thoroughly. Only then can you provide the happy, healthy life they truly deserve.